Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Once again, we want to welcome Barrister Austin Manta, a very senior legal practitioner, who will actually be putting a kind of putting value or adding value to his profession today, because what we'll be discussing right now has to do everything about it has to do with the law. We are talking about River State's debacle. What just happened yesterday? I did a monologue on River State. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yeah, I did a monologue, and I gave very broad opinion of the reason I think the issue of impeachment cannot work, and Wike's power cannot actually get to the level that he desires it, sort of. But suddenly yesterday we just had, I think, Tinubu kind of swept the rug off everyone's feet. So it was shocking to me, very surprising. I didn't see it coming, at least not now. And I think it is very, very premature for him to declare this state of emergency in River State. And that is why we are here with Barrister Austin Manta, who can give us the legal and at least take us through the legal dynamics of this whole case and where it stands, a sort of whether it is potent or not. Barrister, once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, let's go straight to the point. Barrister, first and foremost, before we go into what Bola Tinubu just did, we all know that was it yesterday or 2 days ago, the House of Assembly already served the governor a notice of impeachment, right?
Yes, you are very
So
right on that score.
now I don't know. First of all, did the governor commit any impeachable offense?
Well, from certain perspective, if you factor in the judgment of the Supreme Court on consolidated appeals before it, and then thinking retrospectively, you say yes. One, the commissioners he appointed were not screened and approved by the House of Assembly as required by law. Two, he is spending monies which have not been legally appropriated contrary to the Constitution. But having said that, you must understand that he took a position and he was only defeated in the court just 2 weeks
Recently.
back. So, for the time that the matter was working its way through the court, he cannot be held to have committed impeachable offense. After the judgment, if he persisted in doing what the Supreme Court has uh, condemned, then you can rightly say yes, he has committed impeachable offense. But that is another issue. Because from what we heard from the governor, he pointedly said he is ready and willing to comply with the judgment of the Supreme Court and to enforce it. To the extent that, according to him, he wrote the House of Assembly, he wants to come and present the 2025 Appropriation Act to them. But it is obvious that there were some other issues under the ground. It's not really the commission of impeachable offense that led to the impeachment notice. Impeachment is a quasi-political act. So you can understand it in terms of politics at play. Really. The excuse of impeachable offense is what it is, an excuse. It is the politics that drives the impeachment that we see mostly in Nigeria.
Okay, now again, before we go into the nitty-gritty of the emergency order or proclamation, with there were, excuse me. I think the same assembly, excuse me, this same assembly initiated an investigative move against the chief judge of the state, right? So we thought our calculation, our opinion here was that their calculation is to actually weaken him either by a kind of I think I mentioned this on my monologue as well, by at least wooing him or intimidating him or blackmailing him to their own side. That is the least, a sort of. Do you think that has been done before they initiated this impeachment notice?
Uh, you have to understand that the chief judge is one link in an impeachment process.
Yeah, but
The
without him,
House
it
of
can't succeed. The
Assembly,
impeachment cannot succeed.
without the chief judge, there will be no impeachment because the chief judge under the Constitution has to set up a seven-member panel that will investigate the allegations of the House of Assembly against the governor.
Yes,
And the whole impeachment depends on that report. If
correct.
the seven-member panel come up with a report that the governor is not guilty, the impeachment process is brought to an
Barrister,
abrupt
we know
end.
that. That those are
Yes.
basic knowledge that everyone knows. What I asked, you've not answered my question. I don't know if you are aware of it. You know, you and I we talked about this, that they initiated an investigation against the judge, the chief judge, because but because they believe that the chief judge obviously will be on the side of the governor Fubara because Fubara obviously appointed him. What I'm asking is, has them they initiated that investigation? What is the state of that investigation?
That investigation is dead on arrival because they asked the DSS, State Security Services, to carry out an investigation into the chief judge on grounds of changing of his age. I have said on this show before that any allegation of wrongdoing against a judge, a judicial officer, relating to his office as a judicial officer is only investigated by the National Judicial Service Commission, not the SS in any way. So if they had any issue pertaining to the age of the chief judge, alteration of his age, changing his age, they should direct the complaint or allegation to the NJC. The NJC is the constitutionally charged body to carry out such an investigation and met out disciplinary measures against an erring judicial officer. And the reason I can agree with you, one of the reasons of trying to say DSS come and arrest and investigate the CJ is an attempt to intimidate him because they are not sure whether he will toe his line. In principle, in practice, let me say so. Whenever an impeachment is going on, they literally bring the names of people they want to be in that panel to the chief judge for him to just rubber stamp because they have chosen the people carefully that will return a guilty verdict. And in most instances, you will see the proceedings will take 1 day or 2 days. The panel will return a guilty verdict. Where you have problem is where you are not sure that the chief judge will accept the list that you have brought. Where you are not sure is where you are feeling that the chief judge is independent and will bring people whom you do not trust to return a guilty verdict. So you use other means to try to intimidate him so that he can do your bidding.
Okay. All right. Now, could that be the purpose? Probably, obviously, just like you say, it was the investigation, and the investigative move was a kind of a dead on arrival. Could that be the reason why the frustration behind this sudden change of events from Aso Rock? Because obviously, if they
I
feel
believe,
that
I believe,
if they feel
I
that they
believe
cannot they cannot that the chief judge is an obstacle and the obstacle cannot be intimidated or blackmailed, what other option? Probably the only option they have is to use the power of government, right?
I agree with you. That could be one of the reasons they are not sure that the process of impeachment can go smoothly as they expect. And secondly, remember the impeachment notice was made, allegations were made both against the governor and the deputy governor.
Yes,
The implication is that if the two were impeached, then the speaker,
becomes automatically,
Amawili,
yes.
of the 24 becomes the governor of Rivers State for 3 months, during which INEC is expected to conduct a fresh election. So the one of two reasons. One, they are not sure that the impeachment process will go as they plan. And secondly, apparently from security reports, removing the governor and the deputy governor and putting the Wike Lucky into governorship will most likely bring a total breakdown of law and order. So I think these two combine to make them to abandon that enterprise and go for something that they will present as being somehow fair. That is by removing the governor, suspending the governor, and suspending the 27 lawmakers.
Okay.
I mean, the House of Assembly.
Okay, let's come to the nitty-gritty of the matter now, the reason why we are here. Um, okay, let me put it this way. What do you think about the emergency declaration from the president, Bola Tinubu?
I can tell you straight away that it is illegal and unconstitutional. Not that the president does not have power to declare an emergency, but the Constitution is very clear. It has listed conditions which will manifest before a declaration of emergency can be made. I will read out the conditions so every layman, our listeners, our viewers, can make out of it whether the situation that is envisaged by the Constitution has arisen for emergency to be declared. The first condition is if the country is at war. Of course, we can say that the country is not at war. The second one is if the country is in imminent danger of invasion or involvement in a war. If we are being threatened by a neighboring country or any country to invade Nigeria, in that circumstance, there can be a state of emergency to deal with that situation. This again has not happened. The third one is where there is an actual breakdown of public order and public safety to such an extent, not just a mere breakdown of public, to such an extent, so devastating, so extensive, as to require extraordinary measures to restore law and order. Can we, in all honesty, say that there is such a breakdown of public order and public safety in Rivers State to warrant an emergency? Again, the answer must be no. Now, the only other issue is if there is an occurrence or imminent danger of the occurrence of any disaster or natural calamity, earthquakes, extensive flooding, extensive fires. We're talking of natural disasters here.
Yes.
If they happen to such an extent that extraordinary measures are required to bring law and order, emergency can be declared. The next one is if there's any other public danger which clearly constitutes a threat to the existence of the federation, not a state. If you see other provisions of the Constitution that are talking of if there's a threat to the federation or any part of it. But in this particular case, they are talking of public danger which clearly constitutes a threat to the existence of the federation as a whole, existence of the country. Can we say, in all honesty, that what is happening in River State threatens the existence, is a danger that threatens the existence of Nigeria? Now, the final issue is, if these instances occur, the governor, acting on the address of two-thirds members of the House of Assembly, can request the president to declare a state of emergency in his own state. Again, this situation does not arise. So the viewers, this is no longer an issue of law. These are factual situations. We are all in Nigeria. Can anybody say with a good conscience that any of these things I have mentioned has occurred to warrant the declaration of a state of emergency?
Okay,
The jury is out there.
let me play the devil's advocate here. What if the president, his thought was, okay, I want to preempt bloodshed because obviously, like we all noted here, that it will that they cannot. Like me, I made it clear on my monologue that they cannot impeach Fubara because there will be serious resistance, a sort of, because overwhelming majority of the people of River State are solidly behind the governor. So as a result of that, they will resist it at all costs. So, playing the devil's advocate here, do you think that what was on Tinubu's mind was about preemption, trying to preempt the bloodbath or trying to preempt the breakdown of law and order? So, do you think that was the reason? Probably it was trying to be patriotic enough or humane or empathic enough to preempt the possible outcome of impeaching Fubara, the governor of River State.
Well, there are two things here. One, I don't care what the president thinks or what he wants to preempt. If you do not bring the situation within these four ambits that I have mentioned, you cannot declare a state of emergency, period. Now, the issue you raise is self-defeating. If the fear is that the removal of Fubara by impeachment will bring chaos and bloodshed, the proclamation of emergency, has it not removed Fubara? Is it not then going to bring bloodshed?
Yeah, but there will be the military. There will be military. Then the security institutions will
Exactly.
take
So
charge.
your argument is defeated in the sense that if you were impeached, the military are still there to restore law and order.
Yes.
It's not that it must be an emergency before the military will be there. The military are there, emergency or not. Your point was the removal of Fubara. It will bring chaos. It will bring this thing. In either issue, whether impeachment or by proclamation, the president has removed the governor. So are we now saying that, okay, in one instance, it's only through impeachment that chaos will come? The removal by proclamation of emergency will not bring the chaos? So it's neither here nor there. Like I said, this is politics. And we have played it in Nigeria before. We have misapplied the provisions of the Constitution from Obasanjo's time. It's only Jonathan's government who declared a state of emergency at the height of Boko Haram threat. He declared a state of emergency in three states, Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe. But he did not remove or suspend any governor or any elected
Okay,
official.
that's actually my next question. Does the president, in any circumstances, have the authority under emergency rule or law to remove democratically elected governor?
The president does not have that power. The only way an elected governor can be removed is spelled out in the Constitution. And a declaration of emergency is not one of them. Death, resignation, or impeachment, or the end of your tenure. Those are the provisions the Constitution have put in place to end the tenure of an elected governor. Emergency proclamation is not one of them. So you can ask, from where did the president get the power to suspend a duly elected chief executive of a constituent part of the country? You have to go back to 1961 Constitution. Under the 1961 Constitution, there was a separate provision for the federal government to make rules that affect emergency. And under those rules, the president could remove a premier of a region. But those provisions are not carried forward into the 1979 Constitution or 1999 Constitution. The First Republic, the federal government then used those provisions to remove the premier of the Western region. And that is what even brought about the entire problem leading up to the Civil War. It's one of the issues. When Akintola was, the governor of the Western region was removed and later reinstated between Akintola and Adegbenro.
Yeah.
But the equivalence of the provisions under which the government acted then are not found in the present constitution. They were not carried over into 1979 constitution. They are not carried over into 1999 constitution. So again, we will ask, where does the president get power to remove or suspend? Because removal and suspension are virtually the same.
Yeah.
The elected governor of a constituent part of the federation. He has no such powers.
Okay.
Mercifully, even the NBA have issued a communique in clear terms that the president does not have such powers and that the conditions listed in the Constitution for the proclamation of emergency have not been shown to exist in this instance. Now, let me go further and say that the president quoted two issues. One, the judgment of the Supreme Court, and also the explosion of a pipeline in River State. These are just mere excuses. You talk about the judgment of the Supreme Court.
The
Where
man
was the
already
judgment
obeyed.
given?
Yes, he obeyed it.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, did you give the governor the time to implement the judgment? You didn't. The governor has come up and said, I am ready
Of
to
course, he
implement the
already
judgment.
started
He
implementing
has
it.
taken steps by trying to present the appropriation to the assembly. You did not give him time. And then you use an isolated incident, one incident, explosion of a pipeline
Honestly.
in the state, to say, okay, the violence is already occurring. One incident, can it be so pervasive? Can it be so extensive as to threaten the security of the entire country? Certainly not.
Now,
So this is politics. This is power grab of the crudest form that you can think of.
even though I think I have an idea of I think I have the answer to this question, but let me ask you. I want to have your own. I want to hear your own idea and the viewers to actually hear it as well. What do you think is the reason behind this hasty decision? Hasty, rash, irrational, irrational and illegal decision. What do you think is the reason behind it?
The reason is simple. I keep saying and I repeat that it is politics aimed at a predetermined outcome. They want to position the state. Everybody knows that there are three states in the country that are more or less cash cows. They are dominant: Lagos, Kano, and Rivers.
Rivers.
when you look at the configuration, Kano is not really in the pocket of the president.
Yes.
Perhaps Lagos is, but you know the the staggering nature of what is happening.
Yeah.
The president is not fully
Mm. Popular.
in charge.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you look back at the election that happened this day, you will understand why. So there is a desperate need to control one or two of these three mega states. And they happen to have somebody that they can use in the form of Wike
Wicked.
to grab the state and position it ahead of 2027 elections. And they wanted the impeachment. They are not sure that will deliver them what they want. So they had to resort to an
Desperation.
emergency program, remove the governor and the elected assembly.
This is on a, excuse me. This is a very very sad situation. Not surprising because not surprising is coming from Tinubu. Tinubu is it's just like his God is God. I won't say this guy is his godson. Just like a wiki, like a leader like led. He just this is just an act of hooliganism and recklessness and lawlessness for God's sake. What can we say? Because this Tinubu's government obviously has the entire other two arms of government at his beck on call. They are all just in his hands. He just he can control them either way. Sort of. So it's no surprise because let me ask this question, even though I already know the answer to it. Obviously, Fubara will win this matter in court. There's no doubt. This issue of emergency rule, he will win it in court. But do you see him coming out with with the kind of judicial corruption we have today, and with the evidentially we know that the judiciary is actually in Tinubu's hands. He can do anything with it. It's sort of so. Do you foresee? Or can you predict that because it's obvious, it is very, very clear, just like you noted earlier, even a layman will see the clarity, will identify the clarity in this matter, that it is illegal for that what the president just did is illegal to suspend a sitting governor, a duly elected governor, that he does not have the power and authority to do that. There is a process that can lead to the either removal or suspension of the press of a sitting governor and a duly elected governor by the people. Um, do you see Fubara coming back as a governor? Maybe by the court declaring him, or probably the court ruling in his favor. Because I know definitely Fubara will take this matter to court.
Well, I would say that the issue of court, if I were to advise him, I would say the issue of court is a trap. Because if he put the matter in the quagmire of the court, only God knows
Yeah.
the outcome. Secondly, a proclamation by the Constitution lasts for 6 months and can only be renewed for another 6 months. So one way or another, at a point, Fubara will come back as governor. Now, if you were to go to court and put the case in court, you are damaging your prospects of coming to court. Because if the government now say, okay, the matter is in court, we only have to wait for the final outcome of the court. That will become a whole new issue of legal abracadabra. So if I'm the one, I would just advise him to stay put and continue political action on the ground.
So in that case, what if that is the case? Because I didn't view it from this angle you just brought up now, right now, which is the truth. It's a trap because, like you said, the legal issue will drag for probably a long time. He will get frustrated and probably until after the 2027 or thereabout. But my point is this: what is the game plan of Tinubu and Wike? What's their game plan? If at the end of the day, okay, let me ask you: is there any possibility, as it is right now, after 6 months in suspension, probably extending another 6 months, that is 1 year, Is there any possibility of this of Fubara not being reinstalled back?
It will be restored because the maximum that you can do the emergency is 1 year.
That's what I'm saying.
First six, first 6 months, and then the National Assembly can extend it incrementally for another
That
6 months.
what I'm saying is, what do you think is their game plan? If at the end of the day, Fubara still comes back as a
Well,
governor,
let me have further the guess. I read somewhere that Wike gave two conditions for fubara to escape impeachment. He gave two conditions that will make him to hold back his loyal supporters in the House of Assembly. One of them was that fubara should allow him control the local governments. That means that he will control the grassroots, the administrations at the grassroots. The other condition, I can't recall it immediately, but this one is the one I want to focus on. They can use the period of, the local government chairmen have been sacked.
yes.
So they can use the period of emergency because the president has directed the administrator to make regulations and bring it to him to approve, not the National Assembly. So the president is now the one that will approve regulations in River State that we go forward. What if they decide to conduct a local government election under the administrator, under the directions of the president, and install
Will
Wike's
that be
men?
legal?
That would be legal because the president is acting. It will be legal. The election is stricto sensu not conducted by a governor, but by the River State Independent Electoral Commission. The governor may be a party to it because his party is sponsoring people. But stricto sensu, he is not the one that conducts the elections. It is the agency, state independent electoral commission that conduct those elections. But even if the Wike does not get anything, the mere fact that he has vanquished his
And
opponent,
his opponent.
he has removed him as governor, probably for 1 year, will give him some sense of satisfaction.
I'm
It
not.
will also uh, make the president to seem to have satisfied the whims and caprices of
It is
his aide,
yeah,
his appointee. That is
correct.
wicked.
Yeah,
But I said, if the president was sincere and honest,
of course he's
he
not.
could just use one sentence to solve the whole problem in River State. He will tell his appointee, Wike, to hands off River State. Wike is like the governor of the FCT. Why is he intriguing in faraway rivers, preventing governance in rivers? So the president should simply have told Wike to let rivers run,
Barrister.
and that would have solved the problem. But because of the politics that I've talked about, because of 2027, the president cannot do that. In other words, the president knows what to do. The president knows the truth, but has chosen politics over honesty,
That is it.
over the rule of law, and over decency, and over common sense.
Yeah, you said it all. That is it. I was going to say that because we all know that the president knows what he's doing. He is the one doing this. He's the one pushing Wiki. Like I said on my monologue, I cleared the both of them have two different interests. Technically, they are different interests. What Tinubu is after 2027 for him to come back, wants to use River State to gain power back, to win the election there. Then why I say it's different because Wike is on his he wants to entrench himself as the godfather of River State for a very, very long time. For a very long time. Just like
He
what
wants to
to
use he wants to
replicate,
use the
yeah, to
he wants to
replicate what
use
Tinubu is doing.
Tinubu model. He wants to
Yes,
use the
correct.
model in Lagos.
So that is just it. So both of them are technically desire, their interests are not the same. Their interests are not the same. That's just so. But Tinubu is playing a game here because I don't believe that Tinubu is only using Wike. It's not that Wike is someone he wants to just keep being loyal to or whatever. He's only using Wike to achieve his own end, his own interests. And thereafter, probably after by 20, when he wins election, you will see the relationship between Tinubu and Wike will change. So that is just the thing is, honestly, I blame the President Tinubu for all this nonsense that is happening in Rivers State, not Wike, because he allowed Wike to be ruling two different states. Nobody does that. You can't be ruling two states at the same time. Technically, that's exactly what Wike is doing right now. And in the next 1 year, trust me, they will still extend it because they will need time to entrench, to establish their own interest in rivers. That's exactly what they want to do. They will explore. They will expand. They will extend it the 6 months. Obviously, trust me, they will. It won't end in that 6 months. They will extend it to another extra 6 months. That is 1 year. So within this 1 year, they must have. At the end of the 1 year, they must have established their foothold in River State, planted everybody, both at the SEC level, the State Independent Electoral Commission level, to the local government level, the grassroots, as you mentioned earlier. They must have established their foothold there. So at the end of the day, even if the governor comes back, the governor, for one, he will not, he can, with such kind of establishment by Wike, they will not, the governor will not be able, will barely or cannot be re-elected after 2027. And secondly, the governor's remaining term, that is, will be remaining 1 year. At the end of 1 year, it will remain just 1 year. And so there will be almost nothing for him to do more other than just remain a lame duck governor, making him powerless, sort of. Barrister, what are you thinking along with, in line with my thought?
Yes, the things are very clear. Even when the governor comes back, the aura, the power, and this thing that he has would have been diminished. No matter what, it would have been diminished. And let me go further to say that we have a saying that you cannot be a judge in your own matter. Tinubu is a party to this crisis.
Yes, that is it.
He is a party to the crisis. He has held meetings with the protagonists and has come up with resolutions in the past. He is the leader of the APC, the All Progressive Congress. He has interest in capturing River State in 2027. He has interfered in the politics of the state repeatedly. His appointee, his aide, Wike, is the one of the chief protagonists of the two. So he himself has become a party in the case. And there's no way you can look at it that this is partisanship, this is politics in the crudest form, and it has nothing to do with the welfare or development of River State or the welfare of the citizens of River State.
What this is, to me, I think this is just an image of a prototype of 20 of what will happen in 2027. I keep telling people that Tinubu is a lawless person. He's been lawless from the beginning. First of all, he was installed, he was lawlessly declared the winner of the 2023 presidential election. And secondly, since then, he's been lawless on everything, his administration of the country. Every decision he made or whatever, he's been lawless about it. Sort of. So it's either been ramming through the Senate and the House of Rep, especially the Senate, just ramming through his agenda in very, very illegal way, sort of. And now look at what he just did in River State. What do you expect? So this is of course, this is just the picture of what we should expect in 2027, there will be a lot of lawlessness and illegal maneuvers by Tinubu. This man he doesn't care. He just and this is my problem with Nigerians. We Nigerians, all of us are guilty of this. We are so weak and so docile that we do not we don't we have failed to act even in the worst case scenarios, a sort of, because of course he has done it to us before, and he saw that we didn't do anything. Instead of us to unite and fight against him, it was a whole manner of division in the country. Some people were against, some people were in his favor. Even as we speak this as I speak as we speak right now, there are so many people even under this kind of economic situation, the worst economic situation in Nigeria. You cannot believe that people are still supporting Tinubu. Not people that are benefiting from his government. Some people that are not even common men on the streets. I don't understand what kind of country, what kind of citizens we are. This is unbelievable, honestly, that we really just take anything, any nonsense from our leaders. Barrister, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I told you that this is crude partisanship. It has nothing to do with the welfare of the people of River State or the security of the country. I want to read for the benefit of our viewers what Tinubu said when Jonathan declared a state of emergency for Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe, why he did not even remove or suspend the governors. Tinubu opposed that declaration. I want to read for the benefit of you what the language he used against Jonathan then in 2013. If you permit me.
Go ahead.
I'm quoting him verbatim. I'm quoting him verbatim. He said the body language of the Jonathan administration leads any keen watcher of events with unmistakable conclusion of the existence of a surreptitious but barely disgusted intention to muzzle the elected government of this state for what is clearly a display of unpardonable mediocrity and diabolic partisanship geared towards 2015. Borno and Yobe states have been literally under armies of occupation, with the attendant excruciating hardship experienced daily by the indigents and residents of these areas. The government now wants to use the excuse of the security challenges faced by the governors to remove them from the states considered hostile to the 2015 PDP/Jonathan project. This is what Tinubu said back then.
What do you
Can you
expect?
believe
That is
the
hypocrisy.
lack of decency? Such a person to now make this declaration and point to the fact that there's insecurity which he claimed the governor has not been able to tag, without even telling people that the governor is only a chief security officer in name only, on paper. He does not control the army. He does not control the police. He does not control the security agencies. Even as we speak, the army has been mobilized, DSS have been mobilized, they have taken over the government house in Port Harcourt.
Now let me.
It's not the directives of the governor. The governor does not have control over security. It's only on paper that he has. The real control over security. So if there is insecurity in a state, the president is to be held responsible because he controls the levels of security throughout the country.
Now, in rounding up,
it's dishonest for you to take a position that he took in 2013 and now to reverse it when that situation was worse. There was war, insurgency. Boko Haram had taken over several local governments in this state. They were killing left, right, and center. You can't compare that situation to what is happening in River State. But when Jonathan declared a state of emergency in those states without suspending the governors, Tinubu was up in arms.
Barrister, to the best of my knowledge or memory, this is unprecedented. We've never had a situation, any emergency declaration situation where nothing, there was no sign of of violence yet. There was nothing. I don't understand. We've never had it this. I don't know if there's anyone you can remember, but since the advent of the democracy from 1999, we've never had a situation where the president declared state of emergency when let me use that word. One, prematurely. Secondly, illegally. Of course, I think Obasanjo did similar thing, but illegally. But I don't want us to go into that. But prematurely, because it's obvious that let's even assume that he has the power and authority to do that. But the process is still at this level. It is very, very immature. Very, very, very immature for him to have declared, made this proclamation. What do you think? Is it unprecedented? That's the question.
Well, I will not say it's unprecedented because he has fallen back. He has pointed to Obasanjo that did it and suspended the governor of Plateau State.
Plateau
But
State.
what happened then is that there was massive killings in Plateau during that time, during
Yes,
the time, that led Obasanjo to clear that state. The situation is not equivalent to
That's what I'm saying.
what has
That's what I'm
happened.
saying. That's why I asked, is it unprecedented?
Violence.
That's my point.
That extent, yes, I agree with you. To that extent, it is unprecedented and very illegal. Now, the other aspect of it, because of the constitutional provisions for checks and balances, a declaration of emergency was not left to the president alone. It's supposed to be approved by 2/3 majority of the House of Reps,
House of
2/3 majority 2/3 majority of the Senate, and 2/3 majority of the House of Reps. You will see that because of what we have been saying, that the democracy is a sham.
Yeah.
The checks and balances actually exist only on paper. He will get this 2/3 majority very easily. There will be no serious inquiry into it. The National Assembly will just be bought over and they will approve with a 2/3 majority. You will see it happen. He has already transmitted the gazetting the emergency to the National Assembly. The Constitution requires them, if they are in session, to pass a resolution within 2 days. If they are not in session, to pass a resolution within 10 days approving the emergency.
Yeah,
if they do not approve, the emergency ends immediately.
Yeah, I read the report that this the hooligan president, the senior president that we have, Fabio, actually met with Wike prior to Tinubu's declaration. So they already hashed out all these plans and how to go about it. It is so sad, so sad. This is the problem. Yeah, you just mentioned it, that what we call democracy in this country is just a sham or whatever. In the first place, I've never been an advocate of democracy. I've always hated democracy. I never believed it will work for us as a country. It may be working in the civilized climb like the West, because that is their own system. They initiated it. The environment can take it. In Nigeria, it's a borrowed or an imported or an alien system of government. I expect us to actually create our own system of government, something that can suit us, something that can work with our culture and our environment, sort of. But this is just nonsense. I don't know what the difference between what we are practicing now and the military, especially under Tinubu. Tinubu seems to be muzzling everything, muzzling everyone and all institutions or whatever to his own whims and caprices. Unfortunately, this is just, I don't know what we are waiting for. And I don't even know what the military is waiting for God's sake. Because that's our best bet now. That is just, honestly, I'll keep this. This can never be overemphasized. There are two options we have: either a violent revolution or a military revolution. I rather will go with the military for now, because the violent revolution it will affect everyone. Everyone will be affected in one way or the other, directly or indirectly. Even though that will be the really perfect solution to the Nigerian problem, endemic problem, because revolutions like that are actually what brings change, the real change. The military, okay, military is not going to bring that perfect change, but at least it will ameliorate or alleviate the current situation and make it at least a little bit better and or saving. It will be a kind of saving grace, or it will pacify the situation a sort of. So that is just it. These are the two options we have. We cannot continue with this kind of governance. We cannot continue with this kind of leaders. We cannot continue with these shenanigans who call themselves our leaders, for God's sake. But at the three arms of government, at the level of the three arms of government, for God's sake, the president, the senate president, the speaker, the head of the judiciary, for God's sake, the chief justice of the federation, all of them, they all do not have the moral capacity, the moral integrity to do the right thing. They cannot do the right thing. They don't have because they don't have the capacity to do the right thing. They don't have the standing, the platform to do the right thing. It is so unfortunate, honestly. Barrister, once again, thank you, because this show, it was impromptu. You just had a very, very short notice, and as always, we appreciate you that you always honor our call whenever we call beckon on you to be on this show. Thank you so much.
Let me add one last anecdote to it.
All right.
Under the Constitution, when the emergency goes into effect, and even if it was renewed, at any time, the National Assembly can, by simple majority, simple, not two-thirds anymore, simple majority, stop the emergency. Do we have a National Assembly that will even think of that?
Of course not.
Certainly not. They will do the bidding of the president, irrespective of facts on ground, irrespective of national interest.
Yeah.
They will not use the provisions of the law, the Constitution, in the way that will advance the interests of the country.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
They are debating as we speak now. I'm just looking at the chaos that is going on in the House of Reps, where shouting match is going on the debate on the on the debate on the emergency proclamation, which is going on. But already we know the outcome.
Of course. It's so sad, honestly. It's so sad. It's so sad. All right. Thank you so very much, Barrister. God bless you. And viewers, see you again next time. Remain blessed.